Yeah. Pro Fan Sports Podcast. Let's get it. Pro fans, tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam. Sean on the mic, very flat too. Keep you updated, that's what we do. Pro fans, tune into the program. Pro fans, tune into the program. Pro fans, tune into the program. Every single week, get the dope, fam.
DeVante Parker brought that guy in. Are the Patriots thinking like this is it for Mac Jones, or you think we're going to be making a move for an actual, legit receiver here?
I think Parker's pretty good when he's on the field. But it's another classic example of Belichick going after a guy that beat him head to head. And I think if I remember correctly, it was Tom Brady's last regular season game in 2019. Pats were at home. They played Fitzpatrick was the quarterback, not Tannehill. Fitzpatrick was the quarterback of that Dolphins team. And Parker went off. He had a big night. He had a great year that year in 2019.
Yeah.
Last year he was okay. But you could make that about Tua if you'd like. I mean, that's possible. Rookie quarterback. Or not rookie quarterback, but Tua did not play much in 2020. So when you think about it from a receiver standpoint, when you've played with a gunslinger like Fitzpatrick, you play with a guy like Tannehill, who I think is serviceable okay. I think it's a good addition. It's amazing what happens when you add a pretty decent receiver, what it makes you do in terms of how you look at depth. Because then you're like, now Kendrick Bourne's our 2. Okay, he meshed pretty well with Mac Jones last year. Oh, and then Jacoby Myers is our 3? That's pretty good. Jacoby Myers had a pretty good year with Cam Newton. So that tells you what you need to know. And then Hunter Henry can be still be our red zone guy. He doesn't have to be a guy between the 20s, which he wasn't much of last year. I would like to see more of that for the record, but it knocks everyone. I mean, we could go down the list of what we've seen in this league. Just look at the AFC East. When now Josh Allen got a lot better. Let's be clear about that. Josh Allen went from running. Remember the playoff game, wild card weekend? Josh Allen was running for his life. He threw the ball the wrong way against Houston. It was what is happening with this guy? He's a mental case. The next year, completely different guy. But they went out and got Steph Diggs, and Steph Diggs knocked everyone down on that depth chart a peg. If Diggs is your 1. Then you're going to make Beasley or John Brown's your 2. That's pretty good. Beasley's your 3. So it definitely makes you evaluate the receiver room a little bit differently. I still hope they go out and do what Cincinnati did for Burrow. They drafted Jamar Chase with Burrow. I would love to see the Patriots go out and get a former Bama receiver to pair with Mac Jones. I think they can run that risk because of Parker's addition. They've got enough depth now where they can maybe take a shot. And I know the history drafting receivers in the first round for Belichick is not good. I know that, but I'd take a chance on it for sure. But I think it's a good move. They kind of had to do it. I'm happy they did something. I'm glad they're not okay, we have enough, we'll be fine. That would have been stubborn for sure. Plus, I think what they've got to do for Mac here is get faster, both sides, right? Get fast at linebacker. So Belichick loves at least I do. I love those Georgia linebackers. They're so fast. They're big, but they're fast, right? So I hope that's where the game's going now. I think speed really does win. I think that team in Miami getting Tyreek Hill, they're trying to build with Waddle and Hill. They're trying to help Tua get the ball out quick. So that's what they think. Okay, we can get away with Tua as our quarterback. He might not have the biggest arm. He might be he's tough. He took a couple big hits last year. He might not have the flashiest traits as a quarterback, but if they can let Tua just get rid of the ball quick, pre-snap, get him up to speed, let Tyreek Hill get in space. Gesicki's a pretty good tight end. Maybe Miami thinks, well, we have Tyreek Hill. Gesicki's not Travis Kelce, but you'd like to think if the defense has to account for Tyreek Hill, that's going to allow for some separation for Gesicki, who I thought was a pretty good tight end last year. I like the move. I think it's a good move. Patriots, hopefully they're not done. I'm glad they did something to start.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? You guys think? I don't know. I'm not ready to put them ahead of Buffalo.
Oh, no, we're not there yet. Not there yet. Got to see what they do in the draft.
Yep.
You know, we make a lot of deals right before or right after the draft. So I'm waiting on some of these situations to happen.
But you know what? It's like what bothers me though. But the only thing that bothers me about the Parker move is it's like, is that also Bill admitting like, yeah, Nelson Aguilar wasn't a great signing. Let's go out and get DeVante Parker because we're gonna have Parker, Bourne, and Myers, and we're probably gonna move Harry, which I think we all kind of figured out. All right, that pick didn't work. But like Nelson Aguilar, you paid that guy like top of the market money last year. Like now that's
right?
something like that. Yeah, I mean that. So the Parker move also is an admission of guilt. Like, yeah, like I love Bourne. Like they hit on Bourne, but maybe they missed on Nelson Aguilar.
Do you think they keep Aguilar?
I think so. Like I think it's better to have the depth than not have the depth.
And that, I mean, if they keep Aguilar and he's number 2, like you said, I think that can be something.
If he's better, I mean, the whole hope.
Obviously, if he's better.
But what makes me nervous about that mindset is they don't have McDaniels back. This is back to who the OC is.
Right.
Like
I think that's just such a funny conversation. It's like,
Judge.
Why is Bill doing this? Like, why is Bill not hiring somebody? But at the same time, I don't know. At the same time, it's Bill, so.
Because they keep hiring our guys, and Bill's so tired of that stuff,
Yeah. Well, Bill's at the point in his life.
It's about the betterment of the team. It's not about hiring your guys. Who gives a shit?
Well, I mean, when you go through coaches, every coach you get keeps getting hired off every year.
That's because
going back. I think it gets tiring.
Yeah, but you know what I would say to that though, John, is if you recall, Josh McDaniels is ready to get on a plane to take the Colts job, and then Bill slid in and said, "Oh, wait, no, don't go. We want to keep you."
Mm-hmm.
Did it get to a point where Josh McDaniels just put his arms up and said, like, I see the writing on the wall here. Bill's going to coach here for 5 more years. He wants to do it his way. This Raiders job's open. It's a decent job. Not a great job, but it's decent. They're going to let me do some stuff. They went out and got Chandler Jones. They went and got DeVante Adams. I think Derek Carr's okay. I don't think he's as bad as people say he is. I just think Derek Carr doesn't look good because he plays in a division with Mahomes and Justin Herbert. If Derek Carr was in the AFC East and the Patriots had Derek Carr, I'd feel good about that. I would.
Mm-hmm.
That's the comparison I try to make. Or if Derek Carr was in the NFC, he'd be like, Derek Carr would be just as good as like Kirk Cousins if he was on the Vikings. But anyway, what I mean is like rookie quarterback, all the offseason signings last year. If McDaniels was back and they had all this and this is what they did, I'd be like, I can understand what they're talking about. Like, okay, Jonnu Smith, 2nd year in the system. Nelson Aguilar, 2nd year in the system. Kendrick Bourne, 2nd year in the system. Like, okay, like they're gonna have their same professor, their same teacher back next year. It's like if you're a kid and you're in middle school and like they change the teacher on you mid-semester. It's like, what? Like I thought this is different now. Like Josh was there. Now I know Josh left in the middle, but you had Brady. Like you had Brady in 2009 or 2010, whenever McDaniels was gone. When McDaniels was at Denver, then he was at the Rams. Like they've had McDaniels here now for like almost a decade straight. So this is very different, and that's what makes me like. There's no guarantees, but look again. Bill could be right, and look, I also see this too about Joe Judge. It's like Joe Judge did get a head coaching job. Okay, like. Got to give the guy a chance. I will say that. Like I know it didn't go well with the Giants,
but
because I know
he fucked it up so bad.
I know. But hey, maybe that means he's a coordinator. There are plenty of guys who've gone from, and not just Patriots guys, because I know the Bill coaching tree thing. People are like, oh, the Bill coaching tree is overrated. Every assistant that leaves goes and coaches like crap wherever they go. That's the whole league a lot of times too, and a lot of guys leave as a coordinator, take a head coaching job. It happens with the Browns like all the time. Yeah. And they end up sucking, right? Well, what if Joe Judge really just can't handle the responsibilities as head coach, but he can really coach? Hey, Joe, focus on offense. Focus on the quarterback room. Maybe he can execute and excel at that very well, as opposed to trying to run a full operation, getting in front of a podium and sounding like a moron. Like if he's specialized in one area, and I think that's what Bill's banking on. he respects Judge and Patricia. Now, while it's annoying for fans, it's like, well, Bill, like, you're just bringing back your boys.
Yeah.
And you're bringing back guys that are just going to listen to you. I think what gets overlooked in all of this is, and I mean this as a compliment to Belichick, he gave McDaniels a lot of say. Like, and I think it was deserved, right? Like, I think he gave McDaniels a lot of respect and a lot of pull with the offense. I just think we're at a point now, and you got a second-year quarterback here. This isn't Brady. I think if Brady's still here, we're not really talking about this. But the fact that you've got significant changes, second-year quarterback, and a new offensive coordinator for the first time on your staff, and a new offensive play caller on your staff, which we still don't know who it is, for the first time in a decade? How can you not be like, what the hell's going on here? And Bill would really, my last point would be, Bill would really do himself a huge favor if he just got up in front of the microphone when he was there at the owners' meetings last week and said, hey, like, I really understand the questions and I understand why folks would be a little, concerned, but I can assure you, like, everything's okay. Like, I think Joe's done a really good job. He's working really hard. Like, he doesn't even have to reveal anything, but just give a little sense of, like, I get the question. I can understand. He can't even bring himself to do that. He can't just, like, relate to you 1 second. And that is just so, like, Bill, like, you can't get away with that anymore, dude. Like, and look, he can if they have a great year. If they don't, the questions are going to come. And he set himself up for it, whether he likes it or not. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, why can't he do that? That is so, like, so annoying.
I mean, I think everybody was shocked, right? Last season when he came out and apologized to the media because he was short after one of the losses.
Yeah, it's random when he chooses to apologize and be sympathetic. Yeah.
It was very random, and I forgot which loss was it. We lost against the team, and he came out and he said, "I apologize for being short with you guys last week."
Yeah.
And I was like,
"Was it Indy? It might have been Indy. It might have been the Indy game."
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I don't remember, but I was just flabbergasted. I couldn't believe it.
I'm pretty sure it was Indy because they had been rolling into that game, right? They were 9-4. They won 7 in a row. I think it was the Indy game, if I remember correctly. But yeah, it's like, I don't know. I mean, again, he doesn't even have to he doesn't have to give away strategy. He doesn't even have to say we're going to name a coordinator. He can get away with what he wants to actually do. But if he could just say it in such a way, like, I can understand why folks would be concerned, but I can assure you we're working really hard. And, I think Joe's a great offensive mind, just throw the guys a bone, instead of just being like, yeah, I'm happy they're back. Like, say something nice. Like if you could just be like, yeah, Joe did this when he was here. And then maybe it gives folks like hey, that's a good point Bill made. Joe Judge, he was just as much involved with the offense as Josh McDaniels was. And I'm not saying he was. I'm saying maybe you could point to something about that. But try to give these guys a chance. Like, this Bill is not. I don't think Bill's this unaware, but the public, the fans, the media, they really hammer Patricia. Like, Patricia went really bad in Detroit. That was bad. That was really bad how that whole thing went. And you've got guys publicly, former players, saying they didn't like playing for him, right? And Joe Judge, I mean, he can't show his face in New York now, or he'll be like, get out of here, we don't like you. I don't know.
Hopefully they're understanding one thing when over here and not anything else. Right,
but we'll see. I mean, you gotta give him a shot, and I think it all meshes together, right? I think if Denver's not getting Russell Wilson, and Von Miller's not going to Buffalo, and Tyreek Hill's not going to Miami, I think that's why. Remember last year when they got Mac Jones, people were like, can Mac Jones play? Can he not play? That was the topic of discussion after the Pats draft last year. But folks kept saying, hey, if he can play, and if he is the guy, the Pats, they can contend. They can be in it. And they were in it. Now they collapsed, and it was a horrible finish to the season. But, I mean, does everyone remember, Baltimore was 8-3 last year. They were your first-place team in the conference, and then they missed the playoffs. So I think that's the concern. The level of Bill does not demonstrate a level of urgency with his words, and still thinks like, I'm Bill, the 6-time champion here in New England. We do things our way. We're fine. It's like results the scoreboard, the results will tell us all of that. And if they don't have I think folks are worried because the conference is that much better. That's why. And Bill's got to know that, right? He looks around and goes, we got to play that guy, that guy, that guy. Like, that quarterback's there. Like, I don't know. It's tough. Like, I think it's Patriots fans acknowledging, like, Bill, the Bills are good now. Like, they don't suck. Like, they're good. Like, it's going to be hard. And that playoff game, I don't know about you guys. That game they lost in Buffalo, that's their worst loss maybe all time. I mean, like since Bill was the coach. Like, I remember they had the game against Ray Rice at home in 2009. They played Ray Rice in the wild card game, and Ray Rice ran up. That game against Buffalo was worse than that.
I agree.
That was worse.
I agree. And what made it worse was losing to them twice in the same year in similar fashion, as in you didn't make them punt twice in 2 games. That's a dominance. That team dominated you all year. The only reason why you won against them is because there was terrible weather.
Right. Well, and then you found out how they could be beat. They played in a shootout the next week against Kansas City.
Yep.
Up and down, up and down. And so Kansas City, while they couldn't stop them either, they had to win the game by scoring a lot of points.
Yep.
The week after that, Cincinnati, they made key stops when necessary, but they had to score points. Both units did not go in the proper direction when they met Buffalo in the playoffs. So, I mean, I am of the mind. I've said this to people that I'm friendly with, colleagues in the like. Look, if Mac Jones takes a leap, he could elevate everybody, and they'll be all right. They'll be fine. Hard not to wonder though. It makes you just the rest of the conference. The way the rest of the conference has improved, you're like, this is gonna be tough. Because Mac Jones could still make the leap and be really good, and they still don't get in the playoffs. That's possible. It's very possible.
I agree with that as well.
I'd be encouraged. I'd be like, okay, at least the quarterback can play. But then it's like, yeah. So who knows? And then you know what's going to happen. See, this is my issue with the Patriots is if this thing Bill's doing with the non-coordinator thing, if it works, it's going to really bug me because I'm like, oh, God, that means now this is going to be a thing for the next, 5 years. And what I mean by it works is if they go, if they go the same record as last year, they go 10-7, and maybe they just missed the playoffs. They could still make the argument, well, hey, we were right there, and this thing that we did worked.
Yep.
I mean, maybe – I don't think Bill's job's on the line. I know I've heard that, Sports Hub guys talk about that. No way. But – if they have a bad year, 7 wins, 6 wins, but Mac plays well, but their defense gets annihilated again, maybe it could be the best thing to happen to them. So he takes a step back, okay, I got to go out and get top tier talent, and I need to be comfortable hiring a coordinator outside of my circle.
I think
that's okay.
I think anything under 500 is going to be unacceptable.
Can I say one last thing? Because I have this conversation with my brother all the time, and it drives me insane. So my younger brother is very much of the case, it's about Bill. Brady left. That what Tom's now in a but you know what Tom admitted? I said to my brother, you know what Tom did? Tom looked at it and said, well, first of all, Tom wanted the contract. Okay, so if Brady got paid, he wouldn't have left. Okay,
yeah.
So but besides that, since Brady went to Tampa, he's acknowledged I can't do this by myself. I need to have top-tier talent at wide receiver. I need to evaluate a great running back room. I need to have a great tight end. I need to have a great O-line, which was not great at the moment he got there, but they addressed it. They addressed it in the draft. They went out and got Vita Vea. I think they were on the market, in the trade market, to get an offensive lineman too. But Brady also makes any O-line better because he gets rid of the ball so quick. That's what makes him better at that position. Then he also looks at it and goes, ooh, we're young and fast on defense. I like that too. If Bill makes the decision to say to Robert Kraft, hey, I want to move on here and look out, okay, Bill, that's fine, but it's okay if you admit that Bill needs help too, is my point. And he's just not, everything he's done to this point makes you think like he wants to still do it Bill's way and not acknowledge like, hey, what if it made Bill's life a lot easier if Mike Zimmer's out there? Like, go hire Mike Zimmer to handle my defense. Yeah. No one's going to look at Bill Belichick any lesser if he hires a really good coordinator, right? Like, have we all noticed when Brady won the whole thing? Brady got all the credit, even though he played with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Rob Gronkowski, some Antonio Brown. He played with great players.
Bill wants all the credit as well. If Bill had succeeded with Cam Newton, that would have been Bill's greatest achievement. That's to him, you know what I mean? To him, that would have been his greatest achievement. He doesn't want to get the best player. He just want to get a middle-of-the-road player and put him in his system and have that middle-of-the-road player succeed. Yeah. He admitted that. That's what he thrives on. So to him, I don't want to get the best player. I just want to get the player that I think is good and make him thrive in my system.
Yeah, Bill admitted, I forget where it was or how many years ago it was, but he admitted something like that. He said something like, maybe it was in a book or something, or it was reported, but Bill said something like, I want to be surrounded by people that I like to coach, like players. Mm-hmm. I enjoy spending. And that, I mean, from a coaching staff standpoint, from a player standpoint, like, kind of makes a lot of sense. I mean, every coach he's brought in has been someone he has history with, or there's someone coming up through his little, his circle. Players are players that played well against him, so therefore he respects them if they burn him. Players that will, like, if Mac Jones is going to say all the right things about him, Matt Judon at the time said all the right things about him. Now those guys got paid. I think there's a difference. Like if Bill's going to pay you'll play the game. So I don't know. It's I'm fascinated by it. The Pats are still interesting, even though I don't have the highest hopes for them in terms of just the rest of the conference and the lack of moves they've made. So we'll see.
Well, John, go ahead. I mean, we've been talking for a long time now.
I mean, Brandon, it was a pleasure to have you on the show, man. You stayed on even longer than we thought you were going to. So thank you for all the content. And, we're following you here and seeing all the great stuff that you're doing. We got to come up and see you at a Maine Celtics game up there.
For sure. Yeah. So our season's done now, but next year, definitely down. But yeah, thanks for having me on. I know I went a little on there. So, enjoyed it. Yeah, but it should be good. Should be a good.
We're very appreciative of your time. So you didn't. I mean, it was a great conversation. And the only thing I'm gonna ask for one more favor. Hopefully, you can come back during the playoff.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Come back on. Yeah. Definitely.
I think we can. Hopefully, we're playing the Nets, and we can just have a great conversation about that series.
Yeah. Well, I prefer they don't, and I prefer the Nets just to miss the playoffs. So I would get more of a laugh. But nice. Something tells me if the Celtics are playing the Nets in the playoffs, it's going to be a 2.5 week watch. Because that's how they space these games out now too.
And it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be like the talk of the town. Like it's going to be exciting. Oh my God, I can't wait for it. I'm pumped.
Hey, 2.5 weeks, we have Rob Williams come back, in that span of time, we'll be all right.
All right, yeah, if he comes back, I'll feel better about it, but we'll see.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Brendan.
Guys, I enjoyed it. No Barry, he never came on. I don't
know. We are both.
Something's going on with Barry. We got to figure that out.
Yeah, we are both shocked. We have to call him after this and figure that out. He's never missed any of our episodes before.
Yeah, he's the one who reached out to me, so that's why I was like, "Oh, this is weird." So,
like, we've been doing this for 2 years. He's never missed one episode. This is shocking. So,
wow. Okay. All right. All good. Well, I got to run now. I just realized what time it was. I'm like, whoa. But I'm sure I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Thank you, Brendan. Have a good night.
All right. See you guys.
See you.
Hey man, that was dope.
Yeah, it was dope. It was definitely dope. Yeah.
Brandon Glasheen, man, you guys can catch him on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, the Sports Hub. He's everywhere. He's on ESPN, DraftKings, like that dude. He's doing big things out there, and he'll probably blow up pretty soon too. So if you're still watching, make sure you're subscribing. Make sure you're sharing the videos, commenting. Shout outs to everybody that showed up to our 2-year anniversary event. That thing was, we had a good time. People won Celtics tickets, they won merch, they won, alcohol, they won all kinds of stuff, man. So, we really appreciate you guys, and make sure you guys following us on all social media platforms at ProFanSports on everything except for Instagram, and that's at ProFans_sports. So until next time, man, Barry, we missed you. We'll catch you on the next episode.
Yeah, Barry, I hope you're okay, man. That's weird. He's never missed an episode before. This is kind of weird. Yeah, I hope you're okay. Yeah, see everybody next week. What'd you say?
Our supporters are going to be upset.
Yeah. All right, see everybody next week.